Hi guys, it's me, Rusty, 78609, Central Texas, USA, and it's about 4:50 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I just took a shower and I got all my face all oily because I put mineral oil. I just use mineral oil, just plain old straight mineral oil as a skin oil. Works perfect. I've been using it for about 15 years. But anyway, I haven't done one of these in a while. I just haven't. I don't know why. But anyway, after I posted a video about my grandson's graduation. He graduated from a large high school in Round Rock, Texas. And I don't know, I think they probably had 800 or 1,000 in the graduating class. A lot. Or at least I think it was a lot. It was to me. My graduating class was 60 in Kennedy, Texas in 1963. So, anyway, things have changed. I promise you, folks, things have changed. And anyway, let me get my head over. So that's a picture of an Elio car. I'm planning on getting one. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, but at the graduation ceremony, which was in a large arena, which was amazing, in Cedar Park, Texas, they charge you $5 to park. Ta-da! Welcome to the graduation 2016. And they do in that stadium that day. They did 5 graduations because I talked to one of the ladies that worked in what they call guest services, and she looked at her little calendar and she said, "Yep, we got 5 today." But anyway, so the arena is just a money-making cash cow, and but I guess the auditorium at the school either isn't big enough or isn't set up for the graduation ceremony. But be that as it may, it was a good event, great, a lot of things. But just a couple of takeaways from that event. One was I was just shocked by, number one, the security. You had to go through, there were long lines of people. There was probably 5,000 people there. The stadium holds 8,000, I think, maybe more. I think the lady told me 8,000 or 8,000. But anyway, it was at least 5,000 people there. It was pretty near packed, it was a lot of people. Anyway, you had to go through metal detectors to get in. All right, and if you had bottled water, they took it away from you. And guess what? There were no water fountains anywhere, none. So what'd you have to do? If you wanted bottled water, you had to go buy it for $4.50. Wasn't that wonderful? No, it wasn't. But fortunately, I had on a vest, and I had a water bottle in the inside pocket. I didn't even think about it. The guy in front of me, they took his away from him. And I thought, well, shit, that's going to give me the red ass. And but anyway, the guy did. I went through the metal detector. I didn't have any, quote, metal. Or that you got to put your cell phone and your car keys in this little thing. And, just like at an airport. And anyway, so you got to go through security. And but prior to going through the security, it was raining there that day. It wasn't raining hard when I got there, but it was sprinkling pretty heavy. So I thought, well, I'll just go inside and stand. So the doors were locked. Everybody's standing outside. There's people standing there in the rain, and some of them had umbrellas, some of them didn't. So I thought, well, this is pretty silly. So anyway, I go inside there and see the security guy or girl. And I asked her, I said, why don't you let these people come in and get out of the rain? Oh, we can't do that till 11 o'clock. And I said, well, that's 30 minutes. She said, well, we can't let them in till 11 o'clock. And I said, I understand. You just work for the security service, so you don't know why that is. It just is. And if there's a tornado in the parking lot, leave them out there to die. I understand that. So anyway, I had been driving for a couple hours, or an hour, a little over an hour to get there, hour and a half. And I had to pee. Pee. I'm 70 years old. And so anyway, I said, well, could I use the restroom? She said, well, you got to wait to unlock the door. I said, honey, I got to piss like a racehorse. Do you understand that? And there was this guy standing there, and he said, he told her, he said, well, just escort him to the restroom. She escorted me to the restroom. You understand? Escorted me to the restroom. Me. Anyway, so I go in and use the restroom, come back, and she escorts me back. And rather than stand in the rain, I go out and sit in the car till about 11 o'clock, and then I come up and go in. Had to go through the metal detector, just told you about that. But anyway, after I got through the metal detector, because I had made the statement that I had to piss like a racehorse, I was on the security people's radar. That's no shit. I was, and I noticed it because I've been in the Peace Corps, and I've been in different places where you're trained to observe things going on around you, so you know who's following you and who isn't, and all that sort of thing. And so I went in and I was going to sit on the first level. And it was just crowded, so I thought, they had two levels, so I thought, well, I'll go up on the second level and see if there's not a spot there. So I did. I found a spot on the second level, and it was okay. And so I started watching the event, and sure enough, there were two security guards that appeared within, I don't know, 5 minutes. Because you're being watched everywhere. I mean, there's cameras everywhere, in the parking lot, inside the building, all around the building. You're under scrutiny the entire time you're in that area. I guarantee you. So anyway, knowing that, I mean, I observed these people. One was standing to my left, and one was behind me, about 10, 15 feet, and he stood there the whole time I was there. Both of them did, the whole time. And whenever I would leave, I went into the restroom on the second level, and they followed me. They did. They really did. And they didn't follow me in the restroom, but when I came out and went back to my spot again, here they come. So anyway, they were watching me pretty close because I had made the comment I had to piss like a racehorse. So that put me on their radar, and because that wasn't politically correct. And that brings me to my next point. The graduation ceremony was a picture of political correctness. All right? I mean, a picture of political correctness. Every gender had its turn. Every color had its turn. And they had a lady there doing for the people that are hearing impaired or whatever. And, of course, they had television. This was a stadium used for hockey and basketball, so they had 50 or huge television screen monitors everywhere, so you could see what was going on from anywhere. You didn't even have to look where the graduates were. You could sit where I was sitting and watch probably a 60-inch TV and see it better because they had cameramen or cameras all over everywhere. But anyway, it was just an unusual event. And I reflected back to in 1963 when I graduated in a little old auditorium. And of course, there was only 60 of us. So that means there was probably, maybe 200 people there, including the parents, maybe 300. I doubt it. I don't know how many were, not too many. And it's just totally different. There was no security then, I promise you. I mean, and there was no fee for parking in the parking lot. I guarantee you that. And if you had to use the restroom, you just went down the hall and did it. Nobody escorted you. So that's how much it's changed. Of course, that's a long time, and I understand that. But I just want to put you in the know that these kids now are trained to accept that without any resistance whatsoever, without any questioning. They do not question authority. If a person's got a badge on or a colored vest or something that looks authoritative, they don't question it. If that person tells them to jump off a bridge, I guess they'll do it. They are unquestioning, total sheep. I was embarrassed. I really was. In fact, there were some people standing in line, and I commented, I said, I can't believe. I said, why don't a group of us get together and just go up there and approach that security guard or that group and say, look, we'll talk to the manager and let us in, at least to stand in out of the rain. Not one person, not one would agree to do that. Not one. In fact, one lady was standing there with no umbrella, getting wet, and I asked her, I said, let's go up there and raise a little hell. She said, no, just let it go. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay, my ass. Anyway, enough said about that. So I feel better now. I've vented a little bit. But it reminds me of the book that George Orwell wrote called 1984. And for those of you that haven't read the book, get it and read it, because it is a true reflection of what's happening all around you today that you are unaware of or may be aware of. The reason it's called 1984 is he wrote the book in 1948, and he just switched the two numbers and made it 1984. There's also, you can find it on YouTube for free. Be sure and just watch the 1956 version. It's pretty good, and it'll give you an overview of what they are taught. What it's when everybody is under surveillance all the time in that book and in that movie. And that's where we're headed, folks. We're headed to an Orwellian world, and we're getting pretty close to that. And the only people that are really affected by it are those people of you that live in the large cities. I promise you, everywhere you go, you are being videoed, all right? And at every red light, they're scanning your face and comparing it to a database. And if it matches, they're going to get you, and they can. I mean, I'm not saying any of it's bad. It's just, it's totally different for me, and I don't think it's good. I really don't. I think the terrorists have won in a large way. By that I mean, when you've got to go through security to go to a high school graduation in Cedar Park, Texas, come on. I mean, they won. And I tell you who else won. The people that make those metal detectors, and they also have these little wands the guys can use in their hand and go all over your body. And one security guard, I said, that's a pretty interesting little device you have there. And he said, yeah, it's a wand. I said, well, it looks like it can be used as a nightstick. He said, it can. That's why it's built this way. Yeah, it's a long thing. I mean, it's heavy. He let me hold it. Yeah, you whack somebody with that, and they're out. So anyway, all the makers of all those security devices, they're the winners, and the terrorists are winners. If I made those metal detectors or those wands or whatever, hell, I'd be paying terrorists. Shit, keep it up, guys. Let's go get some more shit going. Because every time something happens, we add more security. We add more cameras, and that's another thing. You could, if you were in the security camera device business, well, you'd be kissing those terrorists. I mean, come on. You'd be hugging them. You'd be sending them Christmas cards. Well, I don't think you ought to send Christmas cards to Muslims, but maybe you ought to send them a pork sandwich. How about that? Anyway, other than that, everything's pretty good, okay? Other than that, everything's pretty good. It looks like Trump has narrowed the lead, or whatever lead she might have had. Hillary's, they're even money now. It's an even bet at Vegas. Most places on the presidential election, Hillary, pick them. And but again, I'll go for Trump. Bernie Sanders. If I had to have a number 2 choice, it would be Bernie Sanders. I mean, talk about totally different people. They are, but they are trying to make some changes now. Some you want to agree with Bernie on everything, you want to agree with Trump on everything, and you damn sure want to agree with Hillary on everything. Something wrong with her, man. She never speaks to large groups, no large gatherings. She only speaks to small groups, like control groups, and I find that interesting. You never see her in a large auditorium attracting a crowd of 15 or 20,000 people like Trump and Sanders. None of that. She's always in little groups where there's just it's like her family members, and they ask, the preordained questions, and that's it. And, if she gets elected, I don't know that anything will change that'll affect me. I'm not a gun nut, even though I have weapons. And everybody in Texas has weapons, or most of them do. And so that's not going to change. As far as Social Security, which I rely on a lot, I don't think I should probably improve that. But be that as it may, having said all that, this video will come to an end. Thank you for watching this video. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. Don't let the news media drive you totally insane. But be aware. You got to be aware of what's going on around you. You got to be aware, just aware. You don't have to read every news story or watch every news story. You just got to kind of pick up the flavor of it. You know what I mean? Kind of like smelling somebody cooking bread. You don't have to go in and eat a loaf. You just smell it. You know they're cooking bread. Okay? Same way. But anyway, be that as it may. Having said all that, y'all have a good day. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Carpe diem. Adios, amigos. And bye. I got my face back.